Dolan.
From publicly telling a parent to kill themselves to trying to drown a sibling, the Planet Dolan crew reenacts some of the best true stories from our subreddit about the brattiest things we've seen kids do. I'm Doopy, and today I'll be your narrator. Number 10 was submitted by Mysteria Keto. Honeybit sees plenty of bratty kids at the arts and crafts shop where she works. But the brattiest one of them was a 10-year-old fat kid who came in with his mom. The whole time they were shopping, the boy was barking at his mom. He pointed out every single thing he wanted and would throw a fit if she opened her mouth at all. When they got to the register, he grabbed a handful of Snickers bars and said, "I'm getting these." When his mom timidly told him no, he went into a rampage. He started swearing at her, insulting her, and even told her she should kill herself. The mother eventually just sighed and passed Honeybits the Snickers so she could ring them up. Even though the mother bought everything he wanted, the son continued to abuse her all the way to their car. Although Honeybits detests violence, she was getting a real urge to strangle that brat. Number 9 was submitted by Skylar Benoit. I think that's how you pronounce it. Tolop's bratty little sister has a lot of annoying habits, but the worst one is the way she's always hiding his stuff. She loves going into his room and rearranging things, hiding his toys, controllers, art supplies, and even his phone in places he'll never look. One time, she took things too far. She hid her mom's car keys, stressing everyone in the house out and making them late for work and school. This had serious consequences because Tolop had a test that morning. To this day, Tolop suspects his little sister is actually the devil. Number 8 was submitted by Fade the Renegade. One time, Nixium was lining up to buy a movie ticket when he heard the brattiest kid ever in front of him. The kid's mom had just spent a fortune buying him popcorn, a huge drink, tons of snacks, and 2 tickets to the latest kids movie. But when the kid found out what movie they were seeing, he flipped out. He demanded his mom buy tickets to something else, but his mom explained that movie wasn't showing anymore. When the kid heard this, he let out a blood-curdling scream and threw all his popcorn on the ground. He then threw his extra-large drink at his mom as hard as he could. The drink exploded all over her, and it even hit Nixium and some other people in line. The kid's mom was so embarrassed. Without saying a word, she grabbed him by the arm and stormed out of the cinema. Number 7 was submitted by Grape Roll-Up. One time, Pandora went to the Apple store to get her phone fixed. While she was there, she saw a 6-year-old girl dressed in the latest fashion with her mom, dad, and grandma. They were buying their daughter her first phone and were letting her choose which one she wanted. At first, they pointed out one of the budget ones, but the kid screamed, "No, I don't want that phone!" She pointed at the latest model and said, "I want that one!" When her parents tried to redirect her interest to the cheaper models, she started screaming. Her grandma tried calming her down and got repeatedly slapped in her face. In the end, Grandma had to drag her out of the store while her parents caved and got her the top-of-the-line phone. Great parenting, guys! Number 6 was submitted by a Wiener Slave 32. Working at a pet store, Dolan has seen more than his fair share of brats. One day, a family with 2 kids came in to use the self-serve dog washing station. While Mom and Dad were washing the pooch, the kids ran around screaming and knocking things off the shelves. The parents saw what destructive shits their kids were being, but they didn't seem to care. Dolan followed their trail of destruction around the store and cleaned up after them. When he walked around the corner, he saw that the kids had jumped into a big display of cat litter. They were laughing and throwing litter around like it was a big sand pit. Their parents eventually paid and left without once apologizing for their kids' behavior. Number 5 was submitted by Boy Fight Cookout. One time, Sweet Commando went to his nephew's 6th birthday party. His nephew had invited every kid from his class, including one sour little shithead with a bad attitude. When Sweet Commando asked them who wanted a drink, the kids all threw their hands up and shouted, "Me, me!" When he brought out the drinks, the kid with the attitude got really mad when he saw that the cola drinks were a generic brand and not actual Coke. He sat on the floor, crossed his arms and legs, and refused to drink it. He even tried to talk the other kids out of drinking theirs because apparently he thought generic brand drinks were the worst thing in the universe. Sweet Commando watched the kids sulk about it for 40 minutes while the rest of the kids were having fun. It was both sad and hilarious. Okay, but to be fair, off-brand soda tastes like toilet water, so I'd probably do the same thing. Number 4 was submitted by Pirate Queen Cindy. Every summer, Melissa goes swimming at a public pool. One time, she saw a preteen girl and her 5-year-old brother cooling off in the shallow end. The boy was bored, so he started splashing his sister and laughing about it. The preteen girl did not like this one bit and totally overreacted by screaming at her brother and holding his head underwater for 15 seconds. When she finally let him go, he was crying and coughing up water. His sister screamed, "You deserve that! Don't ever splash me again!" Her poor brother then ran out of the pool straight to his parents. Melissa was tempted to give the bratty girl a taste of her own medicine. What a bitch! Number 3 was submitted by The Dark Drifter. A few years ago, Hellbent was working a dead-end job at KFC. One time, a family of 3 came in and placed an order. When Hellbent brought their food to the counter, he apologized and told the family they'd run out of barbecue sauce. When the little girl heard this devastating news, she threw their entire tray of food on the floor and started stomping all over it. Her mom then dragged the screeching child out of the restaurant by her hair, leaving her dad standing there awkwardly. He paid for the wasted food and apologized for his embarrassing family. Number 2 was submitted by It's Ya Boy 02. A few years ago, Emoji had these white trash neighbors who lived across the street. Every week, they would sell drugs, fight pit bulls, and get into domestic disputes. They also had a 5-year-old boy who was the brattiest kid Emoji had ever seen. Every day, he would stand in the street screaming, "Fuck you!" at passing cars. He'd throw rocks at cars and people, loved to lock his parents out of their house, and Emoji's pretty sure his future will involve going to jail. Number 1 was submitted by me. My sister's kids are spoiled by my grandmother. When we're out with their mom, they act like perfect angels, but when grandma's around, they know they can manipulate her and not get in trouble. Every time we go to Walmart, they have to get something, and if they don't, they will kick and scream. Once, I remember going to Denny's for breakfast while visiting them in Florida, and my nephew spent the entire time trying to play underneath the table, even though we had to constantly tell him to stop. He would scream and be extremely loud and not listen, and he complained about his food and demanded I give him my eggs, even though he had his own. Eventually, I had to just give them to him because he wouldn't stop crying, and he didn't even eat them. By the end of the meal, everyone was emotionally drained from trying to get him to act right, and to top it off, as we were leaving the restaurant, I had to chase him around the parking lot because he wasn't listening to anybody, and, of course, wasn't looking out for cars. I still love him, but he's a handful. Huge thanks for the folks over in our Planet Dolan subreddit for submitting their stories. Got a story like this of your own? Well, what's the brattiest thing you've ever seen a kid do? Let us know in the Reddit page linked below, and you might be featured in a future countdown.
Check out the latest Dolan card update, Nixiumville, a new character, heaps of new skins, a new power-up, new level, daily missions, and offline mode. Download from the Android or iOS App Store and start racing today for free.
Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.